Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're into fast-paced tactical battles where every decision counts, skirmish games are the perfect way to scratch that wargaming itch. Today we're diving into my 8 favourite skirmish games of 2024. I've got a mix here for you of genres from gritty sci-fi shootouts to epic fantasy brawls and even some comic book action. So stick around and I'll show you all the games that you need to try this year. These games offer a variety of tight tactical combat with small squads, allowing for quick matches and deep strategies. So let's get into it. If you haven't already, do please like and subscribe to the channel so you can be kept updated with what goes on. Also join us on Facebook so you can always add your own input into future videos. Anyway, let's start. So first up we have Necromunda, a game that came out when I was a kid and I loved it then and I just got back into it now. So Necromunda is a game set in the dystopian depths of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, in the hive city of Necromunda. Gangs fight tooth and nail for control of resources, territory and influence. These aren't your typical space marines. This is gang warfare in the most brutal and desperate setting imaginable. What makes Necromunda stand out is its narrative-driven campaign system. Your gang members can level up, gain new abilities, but they can also suffer lasting injuries that affect their performance in future games, so it is pretty interesting from that regard. Each game is a tense standoff where you need to carefully manage your crew, use the terrain to your advantage, and make the most out of your weapons and gear. Necromunda's 2024 releases keep the game fresh with expansions like Ash Wastes, adding new environments, factions, and even vehicles. The constant evolution of your gang and the variety of mission types give the game a ton of replayability. If you like immersive tactical combat with a deep lore backing it up, Necromunda is a top pick for 2024. And I thoroughly enjoyed playing it. It's one of those games that you don't need many miniatures, and that's going to be the reoccurring theme throughout this video, is you don't need many guys or girls to actually be able to field your force. Most of the games today you're going to be looking at 10 figures to be able to have a good game. So Necromunda, really good. Also you get a nice bit of scenery, especially in the older box, some good scenery to start you off. So definitely a great game to get started on. Next up we have Mordheim, set in the dark and gritty Warhammer fantasy universe this time. It's a skirmish game that draws players into the ruined city of Mordheim, where warbands vie for treasure and glory. One of the reasons that Mordheim is so enjoyable is its rich narrative-driven gameplay again. Each warband, whether it be mercenaries, undead, or even Skaven, has a unique backstory and plays differently, allowing players to craft personal tales of survival and conquest. As you explore the decaying streets, your warband members can gain experience, develop injuries, and acquire new skills, making every game feel like part of an evolving campaign. The dynamic environment, complete with crumbling buildings and hazardous terrain, adds to the tension and immersion, offering a deeply engaging tactical experience. Despite its depth, Mordheim is surprisingly easy to pick up and get started with, especially for new players or newcomers to miniature wargaming. The small number of models per side, sort of 6 to 12 a game, means you can quickly assemble and paint a warband without feeling overwhelmed. The rules are straightforward, focusing on intuitive mechanics like movement, shooting and combat, with easy to learn dice rolls determining success or failure. Its modular nature also makes it perfect for casual play or more in-depth campaigns, allowing players to customize the complexity to suit their preferences. Overall, Mordheim strikes a perfect balance between strategy, creativity and accessibility, making it a fantastic choice for both seasoned veterans and newcomers alike. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. I love the sort of dark, gritty environment of sort of Warhammer 40,000, but also I love the sort of sword and saber style warfare that Mordheim has. So I love the old world in Warhammer Fantasy itself. So Mordheim, great game. Next up we have Alien, another glorious day in the core. Not quite so well known as some of the others, but for sci-fi horror fans, this is the one. It offers an intense, nerve-wracking experience based on the Aliens movie franchise, and Aliens is probably my favourite of those films. Fantastic, I love it. This game puts you into the shoes of the colonial marines, facing off against the relentless xenomorphs. It's a fully cooperative game where you and your friends have to work together to survive. You'll be making split-second decisions as you navigate the corridors, the dark little spaces. There's objectives, of course, and of course, getting torn apart by xenomorphs is a very real possibility, or having a face hugger put itself all over you. So, great game. You do also have sort of the hero characters like Ripley in there as well, so it really does harken back to the film. What's great about this game is the feeling of tension it creates. As your marines move through the map, the xenomorphs keep coming, forcing you to think carefully about every action. Do you save your ammo for later, or use it now to clear a swarm? Do you rush to complete objectives, or stick together to fend off the aliens? The game's dynamic mission system keeps each playthrough feeling fresh, and the expansions add new scenarios and enemies, like the Get Away From Her, You expansion, which introduces the Power Loader and the Queen Xenomorph. For 2024, this is one of the best cooperative skirmish games out there, especially if you love that edge-of-your-seat tension. And if you love the films, you will love the game. It's fantastic. The miniatures, if you buy the ones which come from the company itself, really good quality, and they really capture the whole essence of the movie, so I highly recommend it. Now, let's talk about 1490 Doom. This is a game that probably a lot of you won't have heard of, and so 1490 Doom is a dark and atmospheric game that blends medieval combat with a bit of supernatural horror. Imagine knights in shining armour, mercenaries and peasants, all battling not just each other but also this terrifying gas that's creeping out of the ground. So they've had to sort of make these ad hoc respirators as well. It's, as it says, set in 1490, so it's very interesting. And it's got a lot of scope to grow. At the moment it's still in the sort of test playing stage. The rules are available for free online, so I'd say go and find them and have a good game. But really fun game. 1490 Doom is a tactical game. You usually only have 3 or 4 miniatures, so very easy to get into, and every encounter is brutal. You'll be dealing with limited resources. Tactical movement and careful planning is vital. There's unpredictability. You never know when someone is going to throw you off the roof or just stab you. There's multiple things that could happen, so it's really fun. It also has the option of having a campaign mode if you really wanted to go that route, because campaigns just make things cool because you can follow your characters as they develop along and if they survive. The aesthetic and atmosphere of 1490 Doom really stand out. It's dark, it's moody, it's full of tension, and with the potential for expansions, which hopefully we'll get as the rules develop going forwards. With very few miniatures, it's very easy to get into, and I think you'll love it as much as I do, so definitely give it a try. And as I said, the rules can be found online. I think if you go just type in 1490 Doom, you should be taken to it, the rules. If not, just comment down below and I will send you a link. Now for another very interesting one, we've got Turnip 28. This is hands down one of the more bizarre and imaginative games out there right now, at least in my opinion. The world of Turnip 28 is a sort of post-apocalyptic wasteland, but not like anything you've seen before. Instead of desert and ruins, it's a world overgrown with roots, tubers and strange vegetation. Your army consists of ragtag soldiers from a sort of Napoleonic style era or medieval era, but they're covered in mud. There's spores which are growing off of them, sort of turning them into vegetable people. It's very, very strange, but very interesting. And very easy to get into because you can basically use whatever figures you have to hand. They don't have their own, so it's, again, very low bar to entry, and you can customize the miniatures to make them look however you want. I'd say that's one of the funnest things about it, is that sort of creative freedom it gives you with the models. You can kit bash and modify them however you like, embracing the game's weird, grimy aesthetic. The gameplay itself is streamlined and focuses on skirmish tactics, positioning, morale is quite an important thing, and close range support. Despite its wacky premise, the mechanics are pretty solid, and you can really sink your teeth into building a custom and very unique army. Turnip 28 continues to grow in popularity, with new content from the community just coming all the time, and just hobbyists, as they get to know it, they're just diving into it. So there's more and more people getting into the game itself. You can really get going with Force, which again, it's a skirmish game. You're looking at probably needing somewhere between 12 and 24 figures, and you can have a pretty good game. So very, again, easy entry level, and you can get the cheapest miniatures you can find, customize them up, so the price of getting into it pretty low too. So thoroughly enjoyable games, definitely recommend. Frostgrave. If you're into magic, monsters and treasure hunting, then Frostgrave is a game you need to check out. In this skirmish game, you control a wizard and their warband, exploring the ruins of a once great city now buried beneath the snow and ice. Your objective is simple: scour the city for treasure, fend off rival warbands, and avoid getting eaten by the many deadly creatures lurking in the frozen ruins. So if you like Dungeons & Dragons, this is kind of like Dungeons & Dragons, the skirmish game. What makes Frostgrave so compelling is the wide array of spells and abilities you can choose for your wizard. There are different schools of magic to specialise in, and you can tailor your playstyle to be more offensive, defensive, or focused on controlling the battlefields of the elements. As you win games, your wizard gains experience and can learn new spells, making every campaign feel different, and again, developing your men as you go along. Every year we just get more and more content for it. New monsters, new treasure, new options for your warbands, customization, and it's just a thoroughly enjoyable game if you enjoy a good bit of skirmishing. Not too many figures, but you like that sort of narrative feel of your battles. So again, Frostgrave, you don't need a huge number of troops, so it's quite an easy one to get into if you're starting from scratch, or if you've got other troops which you already have, you can just proxy them across. So definitely worth checking it out. For all of you history buffs out there, Ravenfeast takes you back to the Viking Age, although you can alter the rules to play throughout most of the medieval period too, with fast, brutal skirmish battles. So whether you are raiding a village or defending your homeland, the game focuses on the fierce tactical combat of the Norse warriors. What makes Ravenfeast stand out is its simplicity and accessibility. The guys over at Little Wars TV came up with the rules, and it is very easy to get into. It's also free if you go to their website. So I think the website's just called Ravenfeast, but the rules are free to download, so there's no cost there. So really easy and really good of them to provide it for free. Despite the simplicity, Ravenfeast does offer a lot of depth in its combat mechanics. It's all about timing your attacks, managing your troops' positioning, and knowing when to push forward or fall back. The game also encourages the option again for narrative elements, so you can develop stories around your warbands as they grow in power or fall in battle. With the Viking theme and the focus on fast tactical play, Ravenfeast is an excellent choice for both newcomers and experienced wargamers alike. Plus, with the game being community driven, there's always new content and scenarios that you can find online. So again, definitely recommend you give it a try. And last but definitely not least is Marvel Crisis Protocol. If you ever wanted to take control of your favourite superheroes and duke it out on the tabletop, this is the game for you. In Crisis Protocol, you assemble teams of Marvel heroes and villains, like Captain America, Spider-Man, Doctor Doom, and all the others, and you just battle it out in a very highly cinematic fight. The game is incredibly dynamic, with destructible terrain, special objectives, and a real focus on making the game feel as epic as the movies. Each character has their own unique abilities that fit their sort of comic book counterparts perfectly. For example, Spider-Man can swing around the battlefield, avoiding attacks, while the Hulk can just smash through buildings and throw debris at his enemies. The variety of missions also keeps things exciting, with objectives ranging from capturing important artifacts to stopping city-wide disasters. It's just a fantastic, fun, light-hearted game which allows you to sort of recreate that feeling of being a superhero. So I definitely recommend that one to you as well. And there you have it, my 8 best skirmish games to play in 2024. Whether you're looking for gritty sci-fi, epic fantasy, or even superhero showdowns, there's something here for every tabletop gamer. Let me know in the comments which one you're most excited to play, or if you think there are any other great games that should have made the list. Till next time guys, I hope that you enjoy your games, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you like and subscribe as well. But till next time, guys, take care and just keep gaming.